If this is your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification, and give us the thumbs up.
In this video, we are going to be discovering the process interlock and the process permissive object. I put them together in one video for the reason that the function exactly the same, except a very small difference between the two, which we're going to discover in a little bit. Now that our program is open, just quickly want to show you guys in here. So we have one program with a few sections, and each section is dedicated to a specific object in the library. For the purpose of this video, we're going to be focusing on these two sections in here to show the shutdown or the interlock block as well as the permissive. So as you see here, we have the process interlock, and really we have one parameters we have to link in here, and that's already linked. And the same thing goes for the permissives. Now, in terms of functionality, they both function exactly the same way. The only difference between the two is that the interlock can handle up to 32 shutdowns or interlocks versus the permissives where it handles only 16. And once we get to the part where I'll show you how to add another block with basically its shutdowns and why not, we're going to see how all that works. But for now, let's go to the HMI and see from the graphic standpoint how that looks like. So similar to the PLC, in the HMI we also have a few screens that are dedicated to specific objects, which you can use as templates. Now, when it comes to the process interlock and the process permissive, they are included in, for example, if we take the motor faceplate as an example, the interlocks and the permissive are already included in that object. And then, for example, if we look at the faceplate of the solenoid valve, you're going to find also the interlocks are part of the faceplate as well. And the same way goes for the process control valve. However, for example, these objects here, if you would like to implement, for example, the interlocks as standalones, maybe for a piece of equipment, you could use this object, and this will call basically the shutdowns of that specific piece of equipment. And once we get online with the HMI, we're going to see how all that works. And the same thing goes also for the permissives as well. So let's go ahead and load our programs, and then we'll see how that works in the from the HMI. So now our programs are loaded and our HMI is running. So as I mentioned earlier, if we, for example, look at this object here, we're going to see that the interlocks already part included in the faceplate itself. And if we look at the motor, for example, we have already the interlocks and the permissives already included. However, if you want to implement them as standalone, you can use these objects as we mentioned, and they will give you only, for example, this one just for permissives, and this one is for the interlocks. So as we see here, for example, if we take the interlocks, we can see here we have, like we said, 32 shutdowns that we can add. Right now I have this is grayed out, all these are grayed out. That means I will not be able to bypass this shutdown, for example, from the HMI. And I don't see any messages in here, so we will have to set up that in the PLC. So let's go ahead and bring our program to show you guys how you can do that. So if we take this as an example, I can, for instance, add a shutdown in here, and the way to do that, I'm just going to add a rung in here, and I'm going to use the LSH as an example. Then my output is going to be basically the inputs of this interlock in here. So I'm going to pick this one, and we're going to link it to our first input in this way. And I'm going to invert this. So it's OK state is 1. And I'm going to push this to the PLC. So now that this is in there, next we will have to set up our process interlock block. So I'm going to bring this watch window first, and I will break my block right here. And then at the same time, we bring the HMI so we can see how that's affecting the HMI. Here we go. So if we look here at the parameters, we have basically these parameters that we can configure. So the first one, the configure only bypass mode, what that one does is basically allow you to give access so the shutdown can be bypassed from the HMI. So if I put this to true, you can see here this become white, which means now I can bypass it. If I click on this, it's become now bypassed. And as you can see here in the symbol has changed to tell you that shutdown is not met, but it's bypassed. So that's basically what this parameter does, and we have here 32 each for one of the 32 shutdowns. The next parameter is the OK state. So as we want this to be the OK state 1, so we can set that here to true. And as you see here, immediately that's become checked, so which tell you that it's all okay. And the same thing in the symbol here tells you that your interlock is met and it's in bypass mode. So I can uncheck that, then we'll go back to normal. So that's what the second parameter does. And then this one here is basically will bypass the interlock. So this parameter here is what we are exposing in this control in here. So when I press bypass, you can see it turns true. So you have access to it from the HMI here, or you can do it in the PLC if you want to use it. This in the PLC, you can use this parameter, for example, and you have also 32 in here as well. Bits. And then next you have the messages. So here you set up your messages that will be displayed to the operator in the HMI. So if I write here, for example, LSHH1260, that's what we are going to see in here. And so forth. So I can add all the ones that I have in my system to display in here. Now, and this is for your inputs. That's what we linked basically in here. We linked this to the first one, and that's basically this this one right here. As you can see, it's true right now. It's linked to here. And then we have the statuses for the first out and an indicator that's used with HMI, as well as the status for the non-bypassable interlocks. So that's basically the parameters, and if you need to add more shutdowns, you just can add basically more in here depending on how many shutdowns you have you have for that particular piece of equipment. One thing I would like to mention for you guys here, as you might notice, in the package there is a tool that you can use to basically or easily configure all these parameters, add all these messages, and so forth for few blocks, so you're not doing one at a time. So that's a really useful tool that you guys can take advantage of. Now, in the same way, for the permissives, it works exactly the same way. The only difference, as we mentioned, is that it only can handle 16, as you will see here in the parameters, only 16 permissives or inputs. So that's the only difference. Other than that, everything is exactly works the same. And if we bring here the permissives, we can see here we have only 16. And in the, like we said, in the same way, you can press this to make it bypassable and so forth. So hopefully that's give you guys an idea on how to utilize this object. Say, for example, we're going to add now some permissive for a standalone piece of equipment. We're going to discover here in a moment what does it take to do that so we can have it added to our system. First thing we would like to do is we're going to create another block here, another permissives block, and add some permissives and configure our block so we can use it with our HMI. So let's go ahead and do that. So now that our logic is downloaded to the PLC and our parameters are set for this object, we're going to go to the HMI and add our graphic. So the first thing we would like to do in the HMI is map our variable so we can utilize in the HMI. And we do start from here, so just right click and then create. And then to keep consistent with the other tag naming, we're just going to delete that. And then in the screens, we're going to bring the main window here. And then what we'll do is, so this is our permissive object. We can simply just create another copy in here. Double click on that so we can bring the properties. And then simply we're going to change this to 3000 that we created. And then we're going to have to create a faceplate that is dedicated with this object. And to do so, we will basically create a copy of this template right here. So we copy that, and paste, and then I'm going to rename it to K3000. And as I need this name, I'm just going to copy it this way. If I go back here, so that's is good. Now my object is ready, and then next we'll do the same for our faceplate. our faceplate also is ready, and we're now ready to download this to the HMI. So our HMI now is up and running, and if we look here, we have our object is added. Open on that, I can see here my permissives. I can see that I'm allowed to bypass 1, 2, and 4, but not 3. So that's pretty much it, what it takes to add basically a standalone permissive object with its associated logic. And the same goes for the interlock as well. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
If you made it this far, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification and give us the thumbs up. And again, thank you for watching.